In a beautiful city of Ugali, a city known of wealth, the average man in Ugali had a house to himself. There lived a very beautiful lady named Sara, elegant, graceful, and curvy, the kind of curve that made men churn. She owned her own beauty salon, Magic Touch, and everyone knew that when it comes to luxury, Sarah delivered luxury or nothing. She was married to a handsome man named Paco, an engineer who traveled often, 2 weeks in, 2 weeks out. But every time Paco returned, he smelled faintly of another woman's perfume. At first, Sarah brushed it off, telling herself it must belong to one of his colleagues. She couldn't bring herself to believe that her husband, Paco, was having an affair. But the thoughts began to eat her up from the inside. So one day, she decided to talk to someone before the thoughts consumed her. She spoke to her friend, Kimberly and Dory, but rather than helping, they made things worse. They painted cheating scenes in her mind, whispering suspicion that broke her spirit even more. Sarah was shattered. She had no one to confide in, and the loneliness began to kill her softly. But unbeknown to her, Paco wasn't cheating. He had two female colleagues who liked him, and though he tried to avoid them, they made it impossible. If they weren't purposely staining his white shirt with their foundation, they were sticking close enough for their perfume to cling to him. He was very faithful, but Sarah didn't know that. After months of silence, pain, and sleepless nights, Sarah decided to turn her sorrows into strength. She started a small online prayer group. She called it the Genz Wife Club. The name sounded trending enough to attract young women, but the rules were strict. No gossip, no judgments, just prayer and support. The first person she invited was her old friend Becky, who always came to her for advice. They began praying every day online and fasting once a week. Soon Becky added more women. Some came for gossip and left quickly when they realized that that wasn't allowed. But those who stayed, they became family. Many didn't even use their real name. They went by nickname and spoke freely without fear of judgment. They shared, prayed, encouraged, and healed together. Sarah began to feel alive again. The group became her safe space, her new home. And every meeting ended with their anthem, words that reminded them who they were. I choose me. I come first. My life comes first. My mental health comes first. I can't give what I don't have. I must love and adore me to give love and adoration to another. Sarah's only issue was, if Paco wasn't cheating, why did everything around him smell like another woman? A part of her still believed he wasn't, but doubts whispered louder every day. On her 28th birthday, while having dinner, Sarah decided to finally speak up. Not directly, but carefully, between bites and smiles. She said, sometimes I notice foundation stains and lipstick marks on your shirts. She didn't accuse him. She simply laid her heart bare. Paco paused, sighed deeply and explained. He told her about his two female colleagues, how they often stood too close, how their perfume lingered, how one even brushed against him on purpose. He admitted it all, and in that moment, Sarah understood completely. That night, she decided her prayer would no longer be about jealousy, but for those women that they will find their own peace, their own sense of worth. The Genz Wife Club continued to grow. Every member paid a yearly due, and the money was used to support women in need. The amount was quite large, but somehow everyone kept up with it. During their monthly general fasting, one member was chosen to host, sending lunch pack and fruits to addresses dropped by members in the group. It became more than just a prayer network, it was a lifeline. Then came the incident that shook Ugali. One fateful day, a beautiful member named Jemima returned home to find her house burnt to ashes. Her husband and children stood outside in shock while the fire truck battled the flame. The cause was a leaking gas cylinder. Within minutes, everything they owned was gone. Jemima and her family had to stay in a hotel temporarily. Heartbroken and embarrassed, she withdrew from everyone, mourning her loss alone. She didn't tell the group. She just disappeared quietly, but news traveled fast in Ugali. By pure chance, Becky, who owned the hotel, found out that Jemima was one of their members. She reached out, confirmed the story, and immediately informed the group. And within hours, every woman began contributing in her own way. Some sent money, some sent items, others prayed endlessly. By the end of the week, they had gathered enough to buy Jemima and her family a new home. It wasn't as big as the former, but it was beautiful, warm, safe, and fully furnished. When Jemima found out, she broke down in tears. She couldn't believe it. At the next meeting, Sara addressed everybody saying, "No one will ever be left behind, not while this club stands. If you have a problem, don't run. Speak. We'll stand with you." Jemima's husband was equally overwhelmed. He had nearly suffered a heart attack at the sight of the fire. But seeing help come from his wife's prayer group restored his faith. He told everyone at work how his wife and her friends came through when he couldn't stand. "Marry a God-fearing woman," he said proudly. And from that day on, Jemima earned more than just respect. She earned her husband's deepest admiration. Then came another woman, Vicky. She was battling depression, a new mom trying to juggle life, business, and carrying baby that never seemed to rest. She barely had time for herself. Her hair was always rough, her meal rushed, her eyes heavy from sleepless nights. One evening during their online meeting, she finally spoke up. Her voice trembled as she shared how overwhelmed she felt. How she no longer recognized the woman she saw in the mirror. She talked about her sudden weight gain, her husband's mockery, and how she felt like she was slowly disappearing. The group didn't judge her. They listened. Then they advised her with love and wisdom, one step at a time. They told her to start with herself. Rest whenever the baby rests. Eat better, even if it's little portion. Move your body, even for 10 minutes a day. Speak kindly to yourself, no matter how you feel. Vicky took their advice slowly, one little change after another, and soon things began to shift. The fog started clearing, the weights dropped bit by bit, and her glow returned. Her husband, who once mocked her, began to notice her again. Not just her looks, but her confidence. He started helping with the baby, listening more, even apologized for the hurtful things he said. Vicky had found herself again, not through luck, but through love and support. These women became the most talked about group in Ugali. No one really knew them individually, but everyone admired what they represented. People called them the wives who pray and win. Many wanted to join, but they couldn't. The group didn't want to become too crowded. They wanted like minds, not numbers. Women who would pray, grow, and lift each other, not gossip nor compete. They weren't famous by face, but by impact. And slowly, their quiet strength began to change the heart of Ugali itself. One thing was sure, these women supported each other's businesses, no matter the field of work, whether it was hairdressing, catering, tailoring, real estate, or even planning. They made sure to promote one another. What one lacked, another provided. What one sold, others bought. It became a cycle of love and support that no outsider could break. Every Children's Day, the Saints give to motherless baby homes, blessing children they had never met. They wanted their prayers to reach beyond themselves, to touch lives, to heal hearts. Sara loved her new home, a family that prayed together, worked together, and grew together. And soon, God blessed her with a beautiful baby girl, one that was greatly celebrated by everyone in the group. Messages poured, prayers overflew, and even Paco, who once seemed distant, now beamed with joy. Years passed and the story of these women continued to echo through Ghana. People could never forget the women who used their knees and voices as a battle axe. Women who fought their wars through prayer, unity, and faith. They weren't just wives anymore. They were warriors in spirit. Proof that when women come together in peace, the world stands still to listen. Thank you very much for listening to this beautiful short story of the day. Please, I'd like you to share your thoughts on this one. What do you think? Do you think that women should learn to work together? Women should learn to come together to pray? Women should marry the opportunity to always find themselves in the midst of prayer. Whatsoever your thoughts is, please, I would like you to share it in the comment section. And please do not forget to support us by liking our stories, sharing our stories to your loved ones, leaving a beautiful comment that is going to shake the internet. Until we'll see you again in our next story, we'll still remain your one and only Sika.